Have you ever packed for a backpacking trip and it took an hour or 2 or 3? For that reason, I'm going to show you how to pack for a backpacking trip in 5 minutes. I've basically created a visual checklist. I don't use a checklist, I just have my visual blocks. There are 14 of them, and that fills up my bag and I'm ready to go out the door. Whether this is hiking or backpacking, it works the same. So first we're going to do our big 3. We're going to have our backpack, our tent, and our sleep system, which is all behind me here. So first off, we're going to pick the backpack. Now, we need to first decide what kind of trip are we doing. Is this, in this case, we'll do a hypothetical. We're going to go out into the Alpine in the summertime. So most likely we're not going to need an ice axe or crampons or any of that kind of stuff. Potentially though, depending on how high you're going. But in this case, we're not going to be needing that kind of stuff. We're going to go summit some mountain, doesn't have snow on it, but it might be a little bit chilly at night. So let's do that one night in the backcountry. So first off, my backpack, I'm going to be going with this, the Ultimate Direction 40. This is my go-to backpack now. I don't even know if I'll be using any other backpacks this year. I love this backpack so much. I just got it 9 months ago and it's absolute incredible backpacks. If I were going to go something longer than maybe 1 or 2 nights, because that's what this is good for, it's a fast packing bag, then I'd be going with this 55-liter 3F UL bag down here. This is my bag I used all last year. Any of my adventure videos you see, I'm usually wearing that backpack. If there's special cases, I would be going with one of these, like the Salomon Advanced Skin 12. This is a trail running bag, so super lightweight. And this one here is Osprey Camber 42, which is a snow bag. It's got insulated sleeves for hydration tube, and then the snow is designed to slide off this thing. So there's special cases here. Obviously winter, I'd be pulling that out with snowshoes, etc., etc. So we're gonna go with this backpack. We're gonna pick a tent. I've got a Dan Durston X-Mid 1 here, so when I'm going solo 1 person. I also have another trekking pole tent here, which is kind of retired. If I'm going 2 person, let's say this is a 2-person thing, they would be carrying like all their own stuff, but I'll be taking the tent. Then we'll grab this. This is my Near Zero 2-person tent. Pretty good tent, like it. So we'll chuck that in the bag, put that in the side. So we've got our backpack, our tent. Now we need our sleep system. I'll be going with the Climate Static V and my Trekology 2.0 for the pad and pillow. And for my sleeping bag, I'll be using a quilt, this one. This is the Big Agnes Kings Canyon UL. I do like taking a note from Dan Becker on this one. Without using the bag, you just stuff it in there. Big fan of that. It really does get into all the crevices and the cracks. Saves some space, makes it easier. It does make your sleeping bag or quilt a little bit dirtier, but you can just wash it afterwards. So we've got our big 3 in there. Now let's head over to my closet here and start going through all these boxes. So what I've got in my closet here is all of my gear organized into sections. And I just go section by section and then put it in my bag, and that's it. After I'm done, I take everything out of my bag and put it back into all these places, and then you don't have to think about it ever again. You're never looking for something. So first off, I've got my cook system up here. So I actually do a lot of cold soaking, so I'm tending not to bring this a lot of time because I'm always carrying 10 pounds of camera gear. But for this case, we'll bring it. So we'll grab our canister, we'll grab a bowl, grab a jet boil, and a little spatula and a spoon. So you see, I've got this stuff placed here. That way I can use dry bags to organize everything, and I know everything is going in its bag. And finally, what we're gonna need is a lighter. I always keep this stuff in my first aid. I always have extras, so I don't actually go through here and do this, but it's a good idea to check your first aid once in a while. Make sure you still have a lighter, matches, etc. So next we have the water system. So I usually keep my water stuff in my bag. I've got water bag already in here. This is a Katadyn B3 3-liter, plus I have a bottle on the side here with a hydration hose. So I've already got about 3 liters of water, or about 2.5 maybe. In my first aid, I also carry some of these gross tablets to put in there. So I always have that as backup, and I potentially would want to switch it out and maybe take like the Sawyer Mini, something like that. But right now I'm using Katadyn B3. And then I go over to this box, which has any of my toques, mitts, hats, etc. I've got my gaiters here, and I've got my hat, and I've got my buff. So put that there. Since it's a summertime one, I won't need any of this stuff, and say we won't need gaiters because I'm not going to be doing any sort of bushwhacking or scrambling. We'll leave that stuff. So this box is just first aid to replenish my first aid over here. So we don't need to look at this one. So in this one, we've got first aid kits. So I've got 2 of them here. I've always got them, they're the same thing. One's orange, one's red. This makes it easy for people. If you get injured, you can tell someone, hey, go grab my first aid kit, and they won't have to guess what it is. They'll know, oh, this is the first aid kit. So I'll grab one of those, and also grab this emergency poncho for the rain. And finally, out of this box, we're gonna grab a mosquito net. I've also got these like hotties for your feet. So if it's something, you know, you're going somewhere like snow where your feet might be getting really cold, you can grab those. Finally over here, we've got toiletries. So I've got some like homemade deodorant and some lip balm here that's got sunscreen built into it. I've got my little sawed-off toothbrush, toothpaste tabs, toilet paper, etc. So I'd be grabbing all that stuff. And then I've got my dry bags. I've recently switched to using these. They're just tiny little lightweight dry bags I got off Amazon, like a pack of 6 of them of different sizes, and it's fantastic for organizing your gear. So we'll grab a bunch of these. And the final 2 kind of boxes here would be, so I've got headlamps and flashlights and all that kind of stuff, but I keep them charging down here. So really, I'd just be grabbing one of these headlamps. And the last one is, do I need micro spikes? Do I need crampons? Those are both there. So now we got all our stuff here. We can just quickly pack all this stuff up. I tend to use these 2 bags. They're a little bit bigger. You can see these 2, I think, are the same size. Maybe the blue one's a little bit bigger. This one is smaller. So I use like electronics and kind of miscellaneous stuff goes in this one. These 2 are usually food bags. So you can have 2 different food bags, one for day 1, one for day 2. And then once you use all the, you know, eat up all the food out of one, it becomes your garbage bag. We'll get to food next. So we'll just keep this to the side for now, but we can pack up most of this stuff in here. And I'll just say the first aid kit, it goes in the front of my bag. This Ultimate Direction 40 bag has this nice zipper pouch here, which seems waterproof, and you can just put the first aid right in the front, so there's no, you're not digging through if you really need first aid quick. Now this stuff goes in the pack, so we'll go like emergency poncho, that kind of thing, headlamp, and my hat and my buff. Now, if it is going to be a sunny day, I'll pull the hat out and stuff it in the front here so it's easy access. But for now, we'll just put it in there. We'll just roll it once. And if you're doing a river crossing, you can use these dry bags, roll them 3 times, and it'll give you some protection. They're not completely waterproof. They're seam taped, but they're a pretty good deal. I think it was 15 or 20 bucks for like 5 or 6 of these things. And it just makes organization so much easier. You just look through your bag and you're like, oh, I need my miscellaneous. Boom, there it is. You grab it. So we're gonna put all this stuff in another bag. We'll put this in the blue bag. Since we're doing a hypothetical 1-night backpacking trip, we don't need to pack 2 days of food. We can just pack it all in the one bag. So roll that up. And the bug net, I'll put that in the front too, just in case mosquitoes do start eating me alive. It's easy to grab that. And we come back out here, trekking poles. So I got basically 2 that I use, this Fizzin ones. These ones have lights built in, which is great for night hiking. So I'll grab one of those, that's 10. Accessories is 11. So whether I'm grabbing snowshoes, helmet, ice axe, or a gold pan. And a quick spoiler here, I'm working on a new show called Waterfall Gold Hunter, where I go out and bushwhack up to random waterfalls that probably no one has ever seen and pan for gold at the bottom of the plunge pools, see if they're finding any gold there. We're heading off trail now. This is a huge waterfall that you can hear the water, you can't see the water. I'm pretty lucky I live on Vancouver Island and we've got so many waterfalls here and we have tons of gold. Now let's move on to clothes. This is a wind jacket with DWR coating, so it is water repellent, and I'll put that over here. Now for hiking in Vancouver Island in the summertime, I wouldn't need like a main rain jacket like this Patagonia or this Gore-Tex Patagonia. They're just too much. So really I can probably get away with what I have there, just an emergency rain jacket with the Gale Versus jacket, and then bring something like this, which is a puff. So it gets cold at night, this is good enough. Now, if you're from somewhere like Colorado, I know I've got some of you following me now, you definitely want to be taking one of these rain jackets. You guys get serious rainstorms like 2 o'clock every single day. It's pretty nutty. So Vancouver Island though, we only get rain in the winter. So the other thing I'm going to need is what I'm going to be wearing. So I'm going to take this sun hoodie. I don't have all of my sun hoodies over here yet. And I started to put my pants out here too, so I've got some pants. I should get my shorts and other stuff. I have some things here, rain pants and winter pants. I also have my wetsuit and booties, any of these kind of things. So if I'm going surfing or if there's gonna be some sort of water stuff where I wanna use this, you just kind of grab all your clothes. Now food I have broken into different categories here. I've got snacks here, so we'll grab a bunch of snacks. This is all van life food, so like ready-made rice and stuff. This is backpacking food, so I've got dehydrated chili that I've made, dehydrated plums, and then like kind of granola and oatmeal and stuff like that. So I'll grab some of that for backpacking food. And then I've got a bunch of these like smoothies and etc. in bottles. This is all my powders and stuff, like vitamin powders and electrolytes. I keep this in the harness of my actual pack here. I've got a zipper down here, and this is where I keep all that stuff, but I'll go through and replenish this with stuff from my supply. So after digging through all my snacks and stuff, I buy all this stuff when it's like super dirt cheap on sale, which is why I have so much of it. And the last thing is juice. I found taking a liter of juice just really helps get calories in easily, and it just tastes great. So I often put a liter of juice in the side of my bag. And then I also have this. If you're doing like a backpacking trip, say for a couple days, say 3 days, you can bring a block of dates, and this has 1,500 calories. You can eat just a third of this for each day, and it's just easy calories. You don't have to think about it. It's tasty and it's cheap. All right, so let's stuff all this stuff in here. I'll be wearing this, so I'm not gonna stuff that in there. We'll stuff the jacket in. And the rain jacket, this can potentially either go in the front bungee pouch, or on the top here. It doesn't really matter. And then we'll grab our food. So I'll count these out so I have enough calories, etc. But that would be another video to kind of break all that stuff down. But just say I'm gonna be taking, you know, this kind of stuff for snacks. And you can break this up in 2 different bags or just put into 1 bag, doesn't matter. However you like to kind of do it, but grab some chili. That's enough for 2 meals there. And some more oatmeal. And then roll this up. The good thing about these two is if you run out of space in your bag, you can potentially strap this to the outside of your bag. So we got our food on top. It's easy to access now. We don't have to dig to the bottom of the bag, and just kind of smush it in there nicely, and everything fits in there super easy in this 40-liter bag. Final piece of this puzzle is to grab our shoes or potentially boots. But if you watch my previous video, I don't use boots very often unless it's scree or snow. So we're grabbing these trail shoes. See, that's it. We're all packed up. Boo's all ready. Boo, are you ready? Our bag's all packed up. The only thing I didn't go over is emergency stuff. So I've got my Garmin InReach. This stuff all stays on my bag. I've got a bear horn here. I've got my bear spray here. All this stuff is here all the time. And there we have it. We're all packed up, ready to go backpacking. Obviously, this took more than 5 minutes because I'm explaining everything, but if I was just going through and grabbing it, 5 minutes, I'm out the door. So even if you don't have this much space to do this, what you can do is just take the 2 backpacks you always use and have your water filter and have whatever else, all the common things you have, and have them in spots. You can literally have like 10 boxes, little cardboard boxes you get from the grocery store, banana boxes, and have them lined up in the garage, and just have water filter in one, food in the next, and you just go one by one. It could be boxes right next to, you know, the garage door or whatever. And you just pare it down to the really absolute simplest way of doing this. You don't need to have everything splayed on the wall like all my jackets and stuff. Now, how this is possible with such a small backpack is because I've switched to a lot of ultralight gear. If you want to check out this video, I go over all my new ultralight gear for 2023. I'll see you in the next episode.